The list of Italian players who have captured the imagination of football fans across the world is a spectacularly long one. Players like Paolo Maldini, Andrea Pirlo, Francesco Totti, and Franco Baresi are just a few who come to mind when discussing Italian legends. The Italian production line is one that few other European countries can match, always churning out new, hungry and exciting superstars. Despite this, few Italian players have had much of an impact in the English Premier League. There is one, however, who left a lasting effect on the Premier League and in the mind of English fans. His name is Gianluca Vialli. Born on the 9th of July 1964 in the relatively wealthy town of Cremona in northern Italy, Vialli's sporting talents were apparent from an early age. He joined local club Pizzighettone at 9 years old, and although he wasn't blessed with towering height or blistering pace, Vialli always had composure on the ball and the ability to make the right decision that many of his young peers lacked. After less than a year with Pizzighettone, Cremonese swooped in to sign him. Continuing to excel at the bigger club, Vialli rose through the ranks quickly, often playing with kids 2 or 3 years older than him. At the age of just 16, he was given his senior debut in Serie C1, the third tier of Italian football, and looked at home amongst the adults he was playing with and against. Cremonese were easily one of the best teams in the league during the 1980-81 season and earned promotion to Serie B. They couldn't hide the talent they possessed in their ranks, however, and in 1984, after Cremonese were promoted again, this time to Serie A for the first time since 1929, Vialli was on the move as Sampdoria came calling. Striking up an instant relationship with Roberto Mancini, observers dubbed the pair I Gemelli del Gol, or the Goal Twins. Sampdoria now had a youthful but lethal attacking force, one that the whole country was jealous of. Not a club that was used to winning lots of trophies, things suddenly looked very positive for Sampdoria as the young forwards spearheaded the Blue Cerchiarti's most prosperous era. In his first season with Sampdoria, Vialli would go on to score the winning goal in the second leg of the Coppa Italia final as they beat giants AC Milan to claim their first ever trophy. The club would follow this up with back-to-back Coppa Italia trophies in the 87-88 and 88-89 seasons, and he would hit a brace against Anderlecht in the 1990 European Cup Winners' Cup to secure the Genoese club a first European trophy. With the 1990 FIFA World Cup being held on home soil, Vialli was named as part of the squad and he was expected to make a huge impact for the hosts. However, after failing to score in Italy's first few matches, he was dropped from the team in favor of Salvatore Schillaci, who had scored the winning goal against Austria after coming off the bench. Vialli returned to the team for the semi-final against Argentina, but once again failed to score as Italy were eliminated on penalties, eventually finishing the tournament in third place. He didn't allow that disappointment to affect him forever though, as he returned to Sampdoria and promptly led the team to their first and only league title. The 1990-91 season was the greatest in the history of Sampdoria. Despite the challenges of the Milanese powerhouses AC Milan and Inter, it was Sampdoria who clinched the Serie A title and Vialli who stood out above his peers. He dispatched decisive penalties in wins over Juventus and AC Milan and scored twice in a mercurial display against Diego Maradona's Napoli as Sampdoria disrupted the Italian football establishment. They were the champions of Italy. Vialli finished that season as the league's top scorer with 19 goals, 3 more than second-place Lothar Matthäus of Inter and 7 more than his club's next best scorer, Mancini. As well as winning the Capocannoniere, he had also been the league's best player and was now being courted by pretty much every top club in Europe. He chose to stay at Sampdoria though, where the club's fans adored him. Sampdoria followed up their league win by making it to the 1992 European Cup final. A late Ronald Koeman extra-time winner saw Johan Cruyff's Barcelona dream team break Blue Cerchiati hearts at Wembley Stadium, and, considering how well they played, many struggled to pinpoint a reason for this defeat, making the loss even harder to swallow for Vialli. This would be Vialli's last appearance in a Sampdoria shirt, as Juventus handed over 17.7 million euros to sign him, a world record fee at the time. With their team already full of superstars, Juve had no limits on what they could achieve, and the fans were some of the most insatiable in Italy. But after 141 goals in 328 games for Sampdoria, Gianluca Vialli was ready for the challenge. Vialli's first few seasons as a Juventus player didn't go as well as he would have liked. Despite securing another European trophy in his first season, as Juve brushed aside Borussia Dortmund 6-1 on aggregate to lift the UEFA Cup, the team could only manage a 4th place finish in the league. A broken foot, the emergence of future Juventus legend Alessandro Del Piero and Roberto Baggio's continued excellence disrupted Vialli's contribution the following year, and he could only score 4 goals in 10 appearances as the Bianconeri again lost out to AC Milan in the league. However, following the arrival of manager Marcello Lippi, another former Sampdoria player, everything changed. Lippi made it clear to Vialli that he was an integral part of his plans at Juventus, but he was unimpressed with his fitness levels. Vialli embarked on a difficult fitness regime in the preseason to make himself stronger and faster. It may have been the most difficult preseason of his career, but the results were well worth it. In that 94-95 season, he formed one of the most potent attacking forces in Italy alongside Roberto Baggio and Fabrizio Ravanelli to claim a league and cup double. A newfound physical presence and intelligent movement reiterated the Bianconeri captain's position as one of Italy's top marksmen as he scored 17 goals en route to glory. Only Parma stopped an historic treble by beating Juventus 2-1 in the UEFA Cup final, but the ferocious and technically excellent volley past Luca Bucci from Vialli was the most memorable moment of that match. While AC Milan regained the Serie A title in the 95-96 season, Vialli was Juventus' talisman as they reached the Champions League final in Rome that year. He scored 6 goals in the competition and eased the growing expectancy on young prodigy Alessandro Del Piero. The pain of 1992 and uncertainty over his future possibly affected his performance in a cagey match, and he was not selected for a penalty in the shootout. However, Ajax's woeful attempts meant Captain Vialli finally hoisted the famous trophy aloft, becoming the only man alive to have won and lost all 3 UEFA club competitions of the time. After leading Juventus to Champions League glory, Italy coach Arrigo Sacchi admitted several Italy players pleaded for Vialli's inclusion in the Euro 96 squad, but a strained relationship between the pair saw that never materialize, and his international career ended prematurely with just 59 caps and 16 goals. That Champions League triumph proved to be the final chapter for Vialli at Juventus and in Italian football. The English Premier League was fast catching up with Serie A as the greatest league in the world. Ravanelli, Juventus' goalscorer from the final, was sold to Middlesbrough, and, after much speculation, Vialli was sold to Chelsea. A new chapter awaited. As foreign talent began flooding towards the Premier League, Vialli joined Chelsea and became one of the few Italian success stories on and off the pitch, alongside Roberto Di Matteo and Gianfranco Zola. It took Vialli just 3 games to get off the mark, scoring in a 2-0 victory over Coventry. A goal in the next game, a thrilling 3-3 draw against London rivals Arsenal at Highbury followed. The pace of the Premier League was electric, much faster than in Italy, but Vialli was equal to it. In total, he scored 11 goals in 34 games for Chelsea in his first season and helped them to an FA Cup triumph. After a stunning start to the second season, which saw Vialli score 4 goals in a 6-0 demolition of Coventry, things started to turn sour at the turn of the year and culminated in the Italian having to take over from Ruud Gullit as player-manager in February 1998 after 4 consecutive league defeats. He was still contributing significantly on the pitch too, and ended the season with 19 goals in 34 matches as he led Chelsea to League Cup, Cup Winners' Cup and UEFA Super Cup success. Vialli made his final competitive appearance for Chelsea at the end of the 98-99 season, scoring in a win against Derby County as the Blues finished 3rd and qualified for the Champions League for the first time in their history. He finished his Chelsea playing career with 40 goals in 83 appearances, but as a manager, he was far from done. The following season saw Vialli win another FA Cup with Chelsea. It was also the club's first ever season in the Champions League, and Vialli's European now saw the Blues make it all the way to the quarter-finals, where they would be knocked out by Barcelona despite winning the first leg 3-1. The next season, when Chelsea failed to win a single game from the 22nd of August through the whole of September, Vialli was sacked. The decision may have been harsh, but he was replaced by fellow Italian Claudio Ranieri, who would take the club to an even greater level of success. The Vialli-Chelsea love story had run its course. In 2001, he was approached by the ambitious Watford, then of the First Division. Vialli could not repeat the success he had brought to Chelsea, however, and their relationship didn't last long. Plagued by working with inferior players who struggled to grasp his understanding of the game, the club finished 14th and Vialli left his post at the end of that season. Surprisingly to some, this proved to be Vialli's last foray into management, until Euro 2020 of course, when he joined his close friend and Italy manager Mancini's backroom staff and helped mastermind the Azzurri's success, the first international trophy since 2006. Gianluca Vialli passed away on the 6th of January 2023 at the age of 58 after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Tributes poured in from all corners of the footballing sphere as former teammates and rivals mourned the passing of a truly precious soul. Even in the face of adversity towards the latter stages of his life, Vialli remained stoic, and his infectious aura continued to leave an imprint on whomever was fortunate enough to be in the Italians' larger-than-life presence.